Welcome to today's episode of the As If That Happened podcast, where we're talking about TV shows, movies, and all things entertainment that we love. Today's episode is season 2, episodes 1 to 4 of My Next Life as a Villainess.
Yes, it's finally here. Second season is finally here, and God.
Yeah, I just am curious what you think about the new storyline, the new story arc that they've introduced.
The feels are real, honestly. I've never felt so excited because I remember watching it and I'm like, they finally put in the aspects of magic. They finally listened. They listened, people. They listened. Okay, I'm probably going way overhead about it. Like, it's only such a small amount of magic, but just seeing that component,
it's gonna be part of it,
right? I feel like it's going to be almost like the main event of it. And starting it off with like a school festival, like I know that in Sydney we don't have school festivals like that, even though they're like the rich fancy ones.
They are. 3 of them are princes. And she's part of a noble family.
She ain't no commoner, that's for sure. Sorry, Maria, but Maria is so sweet though. I shouldn't be dissing her. She's so adorable. But like it was really interesting to see it like open towards like a school festival. And having to see that like arch into something that's like, whoa, what? Her doom flags are coming back up by accident. Anywho, I think because they're being thrown into like a scenario that you just don't know what it is, and as the cliche kind of like common aspect of it, like expect the unexpected or like accept the unknown to kind of say, or like everything is like a blind in the gray area. It's so like, you know that she has currently no fears because she's only worried about her other like characters around her to be like, if you like this person, go for it, like 100%. Like I agree to it. And we have like a full like little snippet of it when Keith and Maria oh my god, I feel like Keith always gets himself into trouble with these different characters just because of his brotherly love with her, like with his sister. Like far out. That was so intense and it made me laugh so much because it was like through their eyes it's like, she's mine, but then Katarina's like, oh my god, they're Romeo and Juliet, and it made Keith so think funny. That who's Romeo? Who's this dude named Romeo? Is he trying to seduce my sister? Man, that's like another competition and everything.
It was so funny too because both times, so it was Mary and Keith and Maria and Jordo, where she was so confident. God, yes. She was like, my woman's intuition, this is it. This is like, they love each other. And like she was like, oh no, Mary's engaged to Alan though. Keith, you can't like Mary, but I will root for this love because it's true love. And it was just like, everyone's just like, what the hell are you talking about? How come you can have women intuition about things that don't exist, but you don't notice when pretty much we're saying, I love you? Because many times in these like first 4 episodes, they basically outright said, I love you, or really express it in the most obvious ways. And she's still just like, what?
Yeah.
And I love you like, as a friend too.
Yeah, and even though they say it like out loud, what was it like? When Sophia, oh my god, let's just say Sophia, she is a good matchmaker. She'll do anything in her like willpower to make sure that it actually happens. Because she wrote a play, and like anyone who's able to write a play, that is golden. Like not only just in like animes or like in TV shows, but in real life, that's like solid. But she made her brother Nicole do practice lines, and he's like, I love you, and she's like, oh my god, this is too much for me.
I did write this down too, that in Sophia's even though it's still saying that Sophia's in love with her, but everything that Sophia just wants for her brother. Like she's rooting for
Yes.
her brother to win her out. And like that moment when she was adding in a new character and they're like, Jordan was like, I'll do it. And everyone's, even Mary was like, I'll play a man. And she's like, well, no one will play
And
the
even
stepmother.
Alan, he was like,
Yeah, it's like,
and
I'll play.
even
It's like,
Alan's like,
no one's
I'll
gonna play
play it, but
music.
who's gonna play the piano, Alan? Excuse me.
It's like
You're there for a
she
reason.
already had that. She already had that like planned out to a T. Even though it did turn out chaotic after that.
But like, you know what? Even though it was based on a popular play like Cinderella, if that was to actually be its own movie, I would not mind watching it, to be honest, just because it's just full of comedy. Her brother coming in as like a villager, but like, oh, well, I'm lost.
So random. I was like, what? But even weirder than that is that Jordo was jealous for her. And in the play, he was supposed to be in love with Maria's character, Cinderella-ish character. And then he was like, this is not how the play goes. Because he was jealous of Nicole for having her. And then they all had a fight. But it was just like, what's happening? I almost
felt so bad for Maria, to be honest, because she's supposed to play the main character. Yeah. They're like, no, go away. I'm taking your stepsister and everything. But I love how Mary's
like, I want to join in the fight as well.
Oh my God, that killed me.
I was legit thinking anything. Like, Alan is about to get up right now and like just stop playing the music and join in, because it was like all the guys were just fighting each other. I was like, this is not how it goes.
Like, even like I was so afraid because like her parents were also there and they are so embarrassed of like her as a character. Like, don't skip. Are you playing in the play? Oh my God, she's playing in the play. My family name is going to be buried alive. Like, dishonor on us, to kind of say. And it's like, oh, this girl has just created chaos on the actual battlefield. But what really made it really interesting was that no matter how hard she tried to not be a villain, because she was playing as the stepsister, she already had to naturally be the villain. And her like conscious minds were like, oh my God, what do we do? I don't know. I'm trying not to be the bad person here, but I have to be the bad person because it's Cinderella.
So I love that tie-in of her still being a villain, but at the same time, everyone loved her as the villain. Like, everyone's like, you saved the day.
Yes. And it's like, they didn't know that she was originally supposed to be the villain automatically, but then because she's like, oh my God, they're gonna hate me and everything, and then towards the end they're all like, oh, you're a great actress, have you decided, like, have you ever thought about being an actress? Like, no. I think the only thing she ever thinks about is food, let alone like just trying to survive and trying to like make everyone else be a partner besides her.
Yeah, I'll bring this up again in the end, but I was thinking about like, has she actually shown any romantic inclinations to anyone else?
No, that is a very interesting insight though. Like, so far she hasn't. Like, the only times that she actually has was the times where she has to actually interact with them, or they literally say the 3 words, I love you.
But then she just seems shocked and kind of confused.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if she's like reciprocating it. So the reason I bring this up, because I was gonna jump a bit, we have a new character introduced.
Can I just say this now? I feel like this show keeps adding in characters, which like, I feel like we're going to end up forgetting who's the actual people in the cast, even though there's like a main cast, there's like subcasts, and then after those subcasts it's like quad subcasts, and it's like, what the hell? And then it becomes like a whole entire like, we are one big family, this is your second cousin, this is your third cousin that comes from your second cousin, and it's like, oh my God, so what are their names? Do we just call them cousins?
Well, there is actually, we should probably talk about a few characters who were introduced. Not only the person I was going to bring up was Rufus the Butler, but also Jordo's family, or Jordo and Alan. There was a scene that I found funny when they were like, Lady Selena was saying how Jordo's brother Ian was trying to get rid of Jordo as an heir, and then get to Jeffrey, the eldest brother, because they were like, but Jeffrey's the eldest, he's the one that's the heir. And then her thought process went, what about Alan? Isn't he also?
Oh my god, yeah. And then Alan's like, what about me?
That just happened just now when I just said Jordo's siblings. And I was like, oh, wait, also Alan's siblings, because they are twins.
Because they are, you know what's really funny? Even though the show really emphasizes that they're actually twins, it's so easy to say that Alan is the youngest one because they don't act like twins at all in some case or scenario.
That is the point that is being made, why Alan always feels like he's overshadowed or always being compared, because
that's very true.
Just like, you even feel that watching, you're like, oh yeah, there's a brother. Like, I keep forgetting Alan's a prince, because they always say Prince Jordo, and then it's just like Alan.
Yeah, and Alan's just Alan. There's no title for him. He decides to disregard that title. Like, I'm my own man.
So what did you think about their siblings, their brothers?
Honestly, I love like saying, okay, yeah, they are slightly evil with the whole like hierarchy bullcrap, well, however royalty goes and everything. Because it was really interesting when they were full telling us about it and all that jazz. I really love the brotherly connections, because there's so, like, again, it's so rare to see like yourself and like your siblings to get along so well in its own different formats and whatnot. Because I know that a lot of siblings, they always disagree and they generally just drift away. So to see that kind of happen in that episode and to see the four of them together, it was just wholesome, even though the scenario behind it, yeah, it was just messed up. But it's one of the best things that the show really highlights, is that yes, there's romantic interests around, but there's also like a great relationship, not only in a romantic side, but in family and friendship.
The relationships are really the big highlight of the show.
Yeah, that's very true. In all like shapes and forms, I guess, in some way.
Although I'm gonna jump back and it's an iffy train. Alan has in this like third episode. So at the end of the second episode, she's kidnapped. Katarina's kidnapped, right? And in this third episode, there is a scene that I just found so kind of wholesome in a way. Alan and Mary both admit that they like Katarina, and I just thought it was so funny. Alan, out of all of them, has been the last one to kind of admit that he had any like feelings, romantic feelings. He was always hanging out with her and stuff, but he hasn't really admitted it to himself yet. And then I thought it was so sweet that he was like, I'll break off the engagement because I like somebody else and you deserve someone better. And Mary was like, no, because I also like somebody else. And they both now have this like camaraderie between them that I think is just so sweet. Like, it's just, they're going to be like good friends now because of it. And at first I was like, oh, maybe it's not a great idea that you're still together in a relationship. Like, you can be out of a relationship. But then Mary explained it, where if you break up with me now, I'm going to have to be betrothed to somebody else. Whereas now we both understand that we don't love each other, but at least for now we can stay engaged, so that I don't have to be shipped off to some other man that I don't love and then have to hide these feelings all over.
And like that, if they do end up having to go through that path, right, they'll still get to hang out with Katarina anyway, because she'll be part of family, because she's still betrothed with Jodo, who is Alan's twin brother, and then they become, it'll then make the relationship kind of weird, because it's like your in-laws like you.
I mean, the whole her adopted brother, like,
that's like,
so that's, you know, we're on a weird relationship.
Oh my god, is this show
we're
turning into like a Game of Thrones kind of scenario? Oh my, I hope it doesn't. I'm just gonna put that out in the air right now.
that scene in the first episode when Mary discovers that Keith has feelings for her, because she was like, you guys feed each other like this in private, and Katarina's like,
It's
yeah,
normal.
because he
He
asked me
also
to.
asks me to feed
And
him and
he's
everything.
like sweating because he like knows that Mary has just figured it out, because Mary's not as dense as
Yes.
Katarina. Mary's
She
like,
she
yeah,
clicks
that's
like
not normal.
instantly. Like, oh my god, what is it? She almost has the same vibe as like Jodo when it's like, oh, like when Katarina was like with a group of like friends and stuff, like, oh, so you're late. Oh, what a pity. If only you guys had like all like princes with you. Like, oh, sorry, gotta go. Bye.
Oh, I did want to talk about, how do you feel about Jordo's jealousy? It comes out a lot in these early episodes, and he's the only one who's like actually engaged to her. But even in the play, like what we talked about, they were all fighting and stuff. But this was Nicole, his best friend, who hasn't made a move on her in
Until
public, at least,
recently. Until that
at
play,
all.
actually.
And yeah, but it wasn't like, he could still play it off as it was playing a character.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Jordo doesn't actually love Mary, but he was saying it in that play because he was playing a character. But he full went all out jealous there, and a few more other times in the first few episodes. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Sometimes I'm like, yes, but then when I see Katarina not reciprocate it, like she doesn't get it, then it's like the kind of possessiveness that shouldn't be okay because she doesn't feel the
Okay.
same way.
To be on the fair side, in all honest, like I get him. I get both sides, like both Jodo and also Katarina, because again, I'm just putting my own experiences in romance, and I am like, you know me, I am one to be so naive, and let alone so like sometimes like passive, or like really like not passive, like really jealous of like people and everything else. I get them both. So I feel like the reason why he's so jealous at the beginning is because throughout the first season, right? Throughout the whole entire first season, he knew that he was going to be engaged to her, and he already knew that it was kind of like a set boundary. Like, she's mine. She's going to get a ring. We're gonna get married, and she's gonna be my queen, to kind of say. But because further down within the episodes of that season and jumping into the second season, it was kind of like, okay, I'm aware that a lot of people really like this girl, but she like is not understanding my feelings, even though she knows that she'll be with me forever, like for eternity and everything else, to the day that I die, to kind of say. But the fact is that because of her nature, it's like how can he tell that person without having to be like, look, listen to me. You have to stop hanging out with these, like not stop hanging out with these people, but like you have to like give me your attention, you know? But then on Katarina's end, it's kind of like having to be a part, like having to understand the feelings of love or like in a romance. And because I feel like she's never been exposed to it as well. So it's kind of like she's like a lost puppy who's like, oh, fresh toy. I'm going to play with that fresh toy. And then once that fresh toy is kind of like gone, or like if she wants to keep it, then she'll drag it with her to the next toy. And then, so it's basically she's like shopping. She's shopping for all these different toys in her world. And then she can't pick which one's her favorite toy as of yet. So it's kind of, yeah.
See,
And it's like all these toys are like, pick me, please.
I have to disagree with you on this one.
Ugh.
I'm sorry. I can understand his possessiveness because he's her fiance, but at the same time, that like engagement happened when they were 8 years old, and because he felt guilty about,
Yeah. Yeah, that
knocking
buckhead.
her out, basically. And so now he has this claim to her that doesn't feel reciprocated. Like, she keeps wanting to break it off, the engagement. Every time she's like, I want to get out of this engagement. And he's just like, No.
That is true.
Doesn't matter what you say. I love you and I want to keep you. So I'm not gonna end this engagement. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like if I think too hard about it, then I start to think, do I like this jealousy or not?
I mean, we did okay, let's be real. We both did ask for a bit of jealousy in the next season, and they did deliver that because it's actually not everyone else that's jealous, it's just one person. And then I feel like that's gonna branch out to the others because
Oh, I mean, Keith is on the cusp there. He's ready
he's
to
ready to fight.
oh, and Mary.
He's ready to fight these people.
Ready to go.
Mary's on that board already going, ha 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 ha. But no, I do get what you mean though. It is, I feel like jealous, like I feel like his like the persona that they've given him for the second season, it can go two ways. It could be really scary, that to a point where he goes nuts and insane, like the whole lot of us are doing right now with lockdown, like we're going insane. Or if not, it could work out in his favor. And actually, he can be one of those like, oh, I'll sweep you away, my queen, to kind of say.
Yeah, well, that's what I was asking before. Is like, has she actually showed any romantic interest in anyone else? Because she has been so just focused on saving her own life and making sure that everyone is happy, that they don't go off to kill her. That it's like, even though everyone's saying pick me, she's okay to say I don't want anybody.
You know what though? I think she might have some, I think she might have shown some expressions for Maria. Cause literally I
I
kid
was
you
thinking
not,
the same
like
thing.
when it was like at the cookie store, like stall and everything else, they both lit up and she was like fully interaction was skyrocketing in front of like Raphael.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I did have that on my notes too.
Literally, that's I think that's the only person that she'll probably go for is Maria. So I know this is really early to say, but I'm putting my money on Maria.
I did say last season that Maria, out of all of them, knows this straight way into her heart because she cooks sweets. That her
Mhm.
number one thing in her heart is sweets. And it's just like
Oh
a
yeah,
match
for
made
sure.
in
And especially
heaven.
because like she cooked her sweets with her vegetables as well. I think this is what the season or like the producers want everyone to think is that she'll be engaged to Jordo, but she'll have a love interest for Maria. But because of the but because that she's on the pathway to marriage, she'll always have this little spark of like dying hope that she'll be with Maria.
But these guys are not her only love interests, because one came in hard there in the fourth episode. Okay, so part of me, so Rufus, the butler, who is also the kidnapper and does dark magic. They really don't show a
No.
lot of this dark magic, even though they keep
No, they really
saying
don't.
everyone's got dark
I
magic.
feel like all these dark magicians, dark magicians, thinking of it as Yu-Gi-Oh. No, not that dark magician. I promise you guys. Um, I feel like they're all part of like the magical. What do they call it again? Like the ministry.
Oh yeah, the ministry. Oh no, I was gonna say
Harry
Ministry of
Potter.
Magic, and I realized that's Harry Potter.
What is wrong with us? We're putting too many things mixing up with it. But like, you know what I'm talking about? Oh, what is it called? Oh my god. You know what? We're gonna put it as the Ministry of Magic. And I hope that you guys don't think of it as Harry Potter, because that's the only thing we could probably think about it now. But I really think in my gut feeling that that's where all the dark magic people are, or like the unique people who use it for different reasons, which I was really surprised when Maria said that she wanted to be a part of it. But in saying that, Rufus, I feel like he's also a part of it because it does show him inside the opening scenes.
So when I was watching, I think it was the third episode where he turned out to be like evil because he was the dark magic guy and the thing. My first thought was, but I saw them almost about to kiss in the opening scene, and then the fourth episode came, and I was like, oh, okay. But can I say though, because we do have these group of like 8 people who all come from nobility except for Maria. They're all like high mighty, and this guy is lower class. I thought Katarina was just so empathetic towards him because even though he kidnapped her, she knew that he was still like just a servant, just a butler to
Yeah.
to Jeffrey, and it wasn't explicitly his fault. But there is a bit of, for sure, there's a bit of Stockholm syndrome here. She was, oh, everything's so comfortable. Like I'm eating so well, I'm sleeping so well. I was like, there's a bit of Stockholm syndrome here. Okay, I know we're talking about how you only saw Spark and Maria, but I gotta be honest, when she was looking into his eyes and she was like, your eyes are like the sky, I thought, is this a little bit of her showing a bit of interest?
I disagree with you for that. I think it was just her being really nice.
I do, but wait, just I have to add a caveat to my note. Is I did also write, is she starting to like him? And then I also wrote, or is she just stating the obvious and that his eyes are blue? Because she can also do that.
I honestly think that she was just being nice. That's just me thinking outside, like not outside the box, but like seeing it, because when we saw his like back memory, it also states the same thing. Like, your eyes is like blue as the sky. It's that like famous quote that he remembered from his past life with that one random person that he took inside his house and whatnot. So I think that triggered his love interest for her, but for her, like for Katerina herself, it's kind of like, oh wow, I never realized it, but your eyes are amazing like the blue sky. Wow, here, have my gem.
Well, he's coming back because she did give him that gem thing. I don't know how it's coming back, but it's probably like, and he's also in the front
Yeah,
in the
he's bound to
title
come back.
scene, so he will probably be coming back. But that scene on the bed, I was like, God, if those guys came in here, they would have an
I was
absolute
shitting
heart attack.
myself when I saw that. I'm like, oh my god, what is happening? Oh, I was so close. I'm like shutting my laptop, like, no, this cannot be happening. Another romantic interest. Like, what the actual crud? No, thank you. We've already had enough romantic interests. I do not want to make another line that goes upwards. Oh
There's
my
another
god.
one.
I'm like, Katarina, pull yourself together. Just pick one, please.
But when they saw the hickey and she was like, oh yeah, a bug must have bit me. At first I thought, oh, maybe she's just saying that to hide what happened. But then she was actually being serious because like, yeah, he was on top of me on the bed. Man, something must have bit me. A bug must
Yeah,
have
and he
bit
got rid
me.
of it for me and stuff. And I'm like,
He
are
was
you for
just trying
real?
to put me to
You've been
sleep.
there.
I was like,
You've
what?
been here like 3 times and you're going to use the same excuse. And I think this is where I'm like, oh my God, this is it. This is where the battle begins for her heart, because
They
I'm pretty
realized.
I'm pretty sure we both know that it was about to happen. Jodo pulled the trigger and like, F you bits. I'm going to kiss you and I'm going to state that you are mine.
Like I said, I don't know how I feel about that one.
Okay. Okay, I think this is like my romantic side coming out of me, and I'm like, this is when it really triggered her feelings and actually realizing that she needs to pick one of these people.
I
And
don't think so.
you don't think so? I think it is.
I don't think so. I think she's still going to be a bit confused about it. I think, or she's just going to think Jordo likes her. I don't know if she's going to figure out all of them like her.
That's true. I think I'm pulling the trigger here for that.
Maria, Nicole, Mary, they have all actually said, I love you.
Yeah, and they both like have like all three of them have blushed with her, or if not, they've made her blush.
And nothing's happened. So I think she might just think
Interesting.
Jordo is just kissing me because I'm his fiance. Like, I'm not sure what her reaction will be, but I did scream when it happened.
I was like you, I was screaming off my bed. I'm going, oh my god, what the hell, man? Yeah, like I was cheering him on.
I was
I don't
thinking
know.
finally because it has almost happened so many times.
I know, and I feel so like, okay, I think this is my like me being like an empathetic soul or something. I'm like, I feel sorry for this dude. He had to wait for so long to kiss his fiance, not only in front of people, but also just for her. Because I think I've only done that to one person where I was so close of getting kissed because I really like this person, but I had to make him wait for like 2 days, and that hurt me.
Still, we don't know how she feels yet. And I like nothing in the show is showing exactly how she feels yet. So I'm excited to see how that kind of goes in the next few
Yes, no,
episodes.
I'm really keen to see if there is a relationship that she chooses naturally, or like if she really wants to just be like, oh no, I want to be on the fence. I want to just, be my own person. The thing is that I I just feel so sorry for all of them. That's the thing. I feel so sorry for all of them. Because they're putting their hearts and soul into this one person, but she's just like, nah, I'm good. Well, not to say like, nah, I'm good, but
Well, she doesn't know or she doesn't get it. And I think that's the different thing of like someone who is oblivious and then someone who's purposely just leading them on for, you know, even though
yeah.
she knows that they like them or not. But we'll see.
I mean, just to like get a grasp as to what we're both thinking, what do you think that she will probably take? Like, do you think that she's leading them on purpose, or being obvious?
I think she just doesn't know. I think she's so preoccupied with her own desires for life because one of the things that she really bonded with Rufus, what they really bonded over was her having or him having traveled a lot everywhere, and she's like excited for those kinds of stories. And so I think for her it's not about settling down to become someone's romantic partner. It's like she just wants to be alive and to experience things with her friends. This romantic stuff is going to create chaos. Well, that's why I kind of like that Mary and Alan ended up becoming like comrades because you would
Yes,
think that they
instead
would
of
end up
like
like hating each other because they are rivals.
I I was actually hoping that it could go either way. Like, instead of putting Maria into the scenario that Katarina put at the first season about Maria and Alan, where Maria is like, okay, yes, take her. I'm gonna be happy for you guys, blah blah blah. Or if not, it's gonna be Maria and Alan just together. And then oh wait, not Maria and Aaron. Sorry, Mary and Alan, and then Maria's with like absolutely no one. But this time, both scenes are not gonna happen because it's a completely different scenario, which
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that is really fascinating and really interesting. But in saying that, I'm pretty sure there's going to be so much more topics going through our heads, and we can discuss about it for so long. And
Well, like to wrap this up, what are you looking most forward to?
I know this is going to sound so evil on my end, but I'm really interested and excited to see what happens with the family hierarchies. Because if they're all going to fight for being like crown prince of whatever the country is called, I think the idea and the concept that, because I'm pretty sure being a part of a royal family, only one person can be king. But if there's no boys, then it's the first girl to get married or something will be queen. But because they're four boys, hypothetically, any of them could be the
Well, it's
head of the
usually the
country.
oldest, right? So
It's
it's
normally the
meant to
oldest,
be Jeffrey.
but no, apparently everyone's chosen Jodo to be the next crowned king.
Well, for me, I'm most excited to see because her and Maria have decided they want to become part of this Ministry of Magic. I'm sorry, we'll find out the name. I'm excited to see her try to improve her magic skills to kind of get in there because apparently you have to have high skills. I mean, Maria's already got light magic that's apparently very rare, but she can only make earth bumps. So I'm excited to see if she actually like improves. That's what I'm excited to see in the next few episodes. Although probably will be disappointed because in the first season there wasn't a lot of magic. I shouldn't expect
I
too
feel
much.
like I feel like there might be a bit more magical aspects, just because if Maria is gonna head towards, wow, I was about to say Hogwarts, but the Ministry of Magic, then there's got to be some kind of format of like Katarina wanting to do that, because what happens is that like I'm pretty sure she's mentioned it inside the episode where she she was like, oh my god, I can finally get out of the castle, I can get out of my marriage from it if I come and join into the ministry and everything. So the only way for her to learn, because she can only do earth bonds, and she herself has admitted, like, I can only do like a medium side or like a small medium size of an earth bond to kind of say. So I think it's gonna work. I think they're really gonna really like focus into the magical aspect. But in saying that, turtles, we'll catch up with you guys in the next episode. Please do stay safe. Don't do anything too crazy, and really just spread your awkward turtle life. But in saying that, guys, until next time, toodles.